Well, it has a lot of texture on it, and if you lay it upwards, it kind of looks like a tree that you find in the fall. What about a book? It can open at different angles, so it kind of looks like a tent if you place it down. Okay, now it's time to really challenge myself. What can I do with the banana? Well, aside from feeding it to my minifigs, after like an hour of thinking, I realized it kind of looks like a water slide, I guess. What about one of these transparent domes? It reminds me of one of those like force fields that go around those cities on like a different planet where aliens live. This is what living on Mars will be like. These are candlestick pieces, and they kind of look like columns on a building. But if you take these railing pieces, they also kind of look like columns on a building. Oh, what's up, also, if you take one of these lifeguard floaties, lay it down, and then put 2 studs inside of it, it looks like a little boat full of people. And for my favorite build, call me a genius for this one, I used hot dogs to make a roller coaster. Lego, hire me right now. Okay, now it's time to think fast. I set my timer for 5 hours and challenged myself to see what I could make. Okay, so first off, I wanted to see how I could make a single tree in Lego. Well, your boy kind of overdid it a little bit and made 26 of them. This kind of looks like the Amazon rainforest. This tree is the tiniest and is literally just a stud. This next tree uses a green cone piece. This one has a blade. Here's a tree that uses 1 bar and 2 leaves. These 2 won't use flower stems. And for this one, I took 3 stems and placed them upside down. This one uses round plates. These 3 all use a sideways building technique. More studded trees. These ones have plates and bricks at angles. Here's a dead tree that uses 2 minifigure hands and a carrot stem. And this one's supposed to look like a Japanese blossom tree, and I just used a pink ice cream piece for it. This tree got absolutely destroyed. Here's a slightly different palm tree and another palm tree. Another tiny tree, acacia tree, just like this one. Then if you grab a chicken, make it lay an egg, then it looks like a tree covered in snow. My ears hurt now from all those dings, and I think I'm definitely good looking at trees now. Ow, 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 okay, please stop. Okay, so our next category is transportation. So I went to Google and searched up every vehicle possible and just made a bunch of them. Starting with this tractor. This thing only took 12 pieces to make. To my surprise, a baby stroller is considered a vehicle. Not sure how, but I made one at Lego anyway. Your boy's about to get so many speeding tickets. I'm a 20-year-old man doing this, by the way. Here's a skateboard. It literally is just a jumper plate and a unicycle. It can't really stand up. Here's my attempt to make a motorcycle. I really tried on this. I realized if you take one of these triangular tiles, it kind of looks like a hang glider. And here's a tiny car. Or you can make a smaller version that only uses 2 pieces. Or you can make one using a single roller skate. Similar to that car, I made a tank and I used a minifig hand for the gun on top. Here's one of those modern trains that go through cities. I also made this excavator. Let's go see if it actually works. Okay, what about air vehicles? First, I made this biplane with a tiny propeller on the front. Here's my attempt to make a passenger plane like you see at the airports. I then took a balloon and then made a hot air balloon out of it. And another hot air vehicle I made is this blimp. And lastly, here's a helicopter I made. And finally, water vehicles. Here's a sporty jet boat I made. And here's a wooden ship, and you can see it's being eaten by one of those creepy octopuses that for some reason love eating ships. I also built this cargo ship, and for the cargo crates, I used a bunch of pieces of different colors. And here's my tiny version of the Titanic. Here's a log cabin, and for the chimney smoke, I used a half cake. And here's another house. Wait. Guys, you were supposed to finish it like an hour ago. Why are you guys still building it? I'm gonna come back in 30 seconds and you better be done. Here's a tiny version of the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And this is the Sphinx from Egypt. I didn't have the hat in the right color, sorry. I just realized if you put a lot of these builds next to minifigs, they look like Lego sets. Okay, now it was time to interact with my subscribers. So I went onto my YouTube, put a post up asking what you wanted to see me make small in Lego. And a lot of you guys wanted Star Wars stuff. So here's a small version of the Death Star. The only inaccurate thing about this is that it hasn't blown up. I also made a Republic gunship, which is a vehicle from the 2nd movie. And then I also made a super small replica of the Millennium Falcon. And for all of my Marvel fans, here's a small replica of the Avengers Tower. Oh, look, it's Spider-Man. Here's one of the Great Pyramids of Giza. And here's a man who's fallen in a river in Lego City. But to save him, we need to deploy the rescue helicopter and save the day. Lego hired me for doing your commercials. Someone wanted me to make a soccer field, so here's one, or football, depending on where you are in the world. Someone wanted me to make a Minecraft build, so here's a small chunk that I made. Up top is a village with some tiny little villagers and my boy Steve, and beneath that is a cave full of lava, water, and within the rocks I added iron, lapis, emerald, redstone, and even diamonds. And for a more challenging build, someone wanted me to make a floating city, so I kind of had to use my imagination here, and I made a floating castle on a giant rock. I used a sideways building technique to make the rock, and I used a bunch of these tiny slopes up top for for roofs. And to make it look like it's really in the air, I used some transparent pieces and put a cloud beneath it, which uses some of these Technic pieces to impersonate rain. Okay, how's the progress on the house looking? Oh, cool, it's done. All right. There you go, guys. That's the house I was talking about. Okay, I've made over 60 different things in Lego, and I kind of feel like a sensei at this point. So it's time to take my true wisdom and make something pretty ambitious like a city. I usually see a city as a place with a bunch of tall buildings, so let's just make a bunch of tall buildings. Wow, that was pretty easy, no sweat. Oh wait, I just realized something. We can't use Lego sets because that's considered cheating. I did find these special pieces though that look like windows on a skyscraper, so we can go ahead and use these. This one's supposed to be an apartment building. These three use a sideways building technique. This one looks like a triangle and I used hinges. These two use jumper plates, and it's cool because I placed each level at a different angle. Like this one spirals upwards. When you're building at this scale, the smallest details count, so I even used the tiny grooves on these plates to separate the levels on this building. This skyscraper is pretty futuristic looking. This one was inspired by the Burj Khalifa, which is the tallest skyscraper in the world. These two skyscrapers have a bridge connecting them, and this skyscraper video will you can still be creative and design beautiful things in Lego. Wow, that's so powerful. I'm about to cry. No, I'm just kidding, guys. Next video, I'm becoming a rich person in Lego, so wish me luck.
This is the smallest nation.
TikTok.
This is so weird. Life hit was
Install and go.
Okay, now I can go to Africa.
Okay, quiet on set, please. Here we go.
I'm Christina Ricci, and this is my perfect tent. I live in a hotel for the rest of my life. When I was 7 years old, and I was traveling with my mother to Los Angeles to shoot a commercial. We stayed at the Sunset Marquis. It was just such a beautiful little picturesque place. I remember sitting in the candlelit dining room, and then I also remember we had bunny rabbits sitting in the garden. Pretty magical.
I also don't have the recordings.
This week, I got bored and searched the internet for the weirdest Lego figures I could possibly find. Then I spent $700 and bought them. I feel dumb now and want to make content out of it, so today we're going to be looking at several weird, creepy, sus, and just cursed Lego minifigs. Well, here's a snowman that came in a series of collectible minifigures, but just when you think you're looking at a cute, innocent snowman, you remove his carrot to add to your nutrition shake and find an eyeball looking right into your soul. Turns out there's just a sweaty dude underneath, but he really does catch you off guard. I guess a third eye really does exist. For this next one, we need to film it underwater. This is King Triton, and he's a Disney character from The Little Mermaid. If you see him swimming towards you, swim the other way, because if you remove his face, there's a second one underneath, and it's totally empty. But yeah, I guess Lego just made a completely separate piece that goes over it. About 20 years ago, Lego experimented with custom-shaped heads for specific movie characters like Dobby from Harry Potter, this Ewok from Star Wars, and Yoda. But these old minifigs have no eyeballs. I guess Lego just didn't have a way to print them at the time, but thanks to smart people, we now have advanced technology that can print eyeballs like you see on the new versions of these old minifigs. But if you look at a minifig like the Squidward, it should probably have a custom head, but it doesn't have one. But yeah, there's a few throwbacks to weird minifigs I reviewed in the past, like this Nesquik bunny with 2 eyeballs spaced as far apart as my upload schedule, and the Star Wars character with 4 arms. Okay, now Lego makes a bunch of minifigures and suits. Like there's a dude dressed as corn, a woman dressed as pepper or as peas, there's a popcorn boy, there's even a dude dressed up as a Lego brick. He just built different, I guess. At this point, there's a minifigure dressed up in pretty much anything you can possibly imagine. Like there's a freaking Titanic. What is this? You can't disrespect Hot Dog Man, though. Hot Dog Man is an absolute alpha. If you take a yellow head, then give it a yellow torso and yellow legs, then you got a minifig with no clothes. Well, in the 2006 Star Wars set came this Princess Leia, and I think it's one of the most revealing minifigs they've made. I low-key feel like I'm looking at the GTA 5 loading screen. They're playing one of those old arcade racing games where there's random girls holding flags telling you when to go. Okay, I guess these aren't really minifigs, but in the early 2000s, Lego made some collectible action figures that kind of remind me of McDonald's Happy Meal toys. These don't really look anything like Lego, so I searched for the weirdest one possible, and this dude literally has plain wings for arms, so they fly. What's cool though is you can load them with foam bullets that actually shoot. The specific theme of these minifigs is called Galador, and I think didn't work. What about the world's most cold minifig, most sus minifig, most chicken minifig, and finally, the most clean
here's our
minifig. It's Mr. Clean himself. What about the world's richest Lego minifig? Well, here's Batman because he's pretty rich. Here's a $100 Lego bill, and
Yeah,
multiply that by
Project
1,000, and we have $100,000 in Lego money.
yeah,
On top of that, we're gonna give him some gold, diamonds, jewelry,
Bye,
rare
guys.
NFTs that are also
See you
probably
guys
worth a lot
in the
of
next
money, movie
video.
theater snacks because everyone knows those are
Roblox.
overpriced, and finally, some Lego meme currency. This is definitely every Lego minifig's biggest flex. This also feels
Bye,
really
guys. See you guys
massaging for
in
my
the next
hands. What about the
video.
world's tallest Lego minifig? Nice. Everyone's gonna be asking this guy now if he plays basketball.
Like a big check. Now here's no part. Yeah. Bye.